NBC Sports presents the best of the National Football League, the American Football Conference. Today from Schaefer Stadium, it's the Buffalo Bills versus the New England Patriots. Today's game is brought to you by Dodge with the new 6-passenger Dodge Aries K and the new Ram Tough Dodge pickups and vans. By Schlitz, the Master Brewer's Brew. It's today's Schlitz. Go for it. By Alcoa, producer of energy-saving aluminum. And by the revolutionary new twin-action Norelco Rotatrack Razor. Schaefer Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, and here's the situation. Buffalo is in to play the Patriots. If Buffalo wins today, they have their first Eastern Division title since the old AFL days back in 1966. If, however, New England should win today, also beat New Orleans next week, while Buffalo stumbles against San Francisco, it would be a tie, each club at 10-6, and New England would get the nod as the division titleist on the basis of better overall record within the division. Buffalo has won the toss. Mike Hubach kicks it off. Bounding down inside the 10-yard line, troubles for the Bills, and out of bounds goes Curtis Brown at about the 2-yard line. So the Bills will start deep in their own territory. Bob Costas along with Gene Washington. And let's take a look at the Bills offense. Joe Cribbs with an even 1,000 yards rushing on the year. He had 118 and 2 touchdowns the last time these two clubs met back in October in Buffalo. The receivers, Jerry Butler has 50 catches. Frank Lewis with 38, and Reuben Gant as the tight end. We'll also see a lot of Mike Bramer at tight end. And there is the offensive line. Conrad Dobler has been an inspirational force for them. Reggie McKenzie, the last link to that electric company team, which sprang O.J. Simpson for so many yards. Ken Jones, who many people are touting for the Pro Bowl this year. That offensive line has done a marvelous job. Ferguson has been sacked only 12 times this year, lowest in the entire NFL. He was dumped for losses 43 times in 1979. He's been sacked only 3 times in the last 8 weeks. Curtis Brown carries on first down, smack into the middle of the Patriot defense. Free safety Tim Fox came charging through and got in on the play. It's a 3-4 unit for the Patriots. Bishop, Hamilton, and Adams up front. Steve Nelson, their best linebacker, by far and away, he leads them in tackles this year. And the secondary, all #1 draft choices. Claiborne and Haynes are the corners. Sanford and Fox are the safeties. And their 5th defensive back, Roland James, the rookie out of Tennessee, also is a #1 pick. Back to Curtis Brown he goes, and Brown barely to the 4-yard line before being shoved back by inside linebacker Steve Nelson with help from Julius Adams, the right end. So now it will be 3rd and long for Buffalo, and in situations like this, they've been going to the shotgun, Gene, but if so, Ferguson will take the snap in his own end zone.
Well, I don't think they're in a position to go to the shotgun. I may be proven wrong, but I think that Chuck Knox is the kind of guy that he'll let his defense do their part. I think they'll do something fairly conservative, kick the ball away, and let his defense take over. New England couldn't ask for a better start. They're getting the breaks that Buffalo got in that first game.
3rd and 8 from the 4-yard line with 13:32 to play. Cribbs trying to sweep from out of the end zone. He'll be short of the first down, and they'll have to punt from near their own goal line. So Curtis Brown had trouble handling Mike Hubach's opening kickoff. It put them in a hole at the 2. They could not climb out of it. Let's watch Joe Cribbs trying to sweep.
As I mentioned before, I don't think they want to take any chances when they're down, backed up like this. Cribbs is the kind of guy, though, if he gets out on a sweep and he gets a guy out in front and gets a little crease, he's capable of going all the way. I mentioned before that New England got the break early, the kind of breaks that Buffalo had got in their first meeting when they played in that game with almost hurricane conditions, when New England would punt and the ball would roll all the way down. New England is really going to take out all stops today. They're going to have to do everything they can to establish something very early in this game.
Greg Cater, the rookie from Tennessee, 12th round draft choice, boots it. It's fielded by Roland James, and James gets it back nearly to the 40-yard line of Buffalo, so the Pats are in great shape. Cater actually was a 10th round choice this year, and he's been kicking at an average of 38.5 for Buffalo. Matt Cavanaugh in place of the injured Steve Grogan. Grogan is in uniform but bothered by a sore right knee. Vagas Ferguson and Don Calhoun are the backs, but New England uses 7 different running backs at some time or another, so we'll see them all. Morgan and Jackson rank 1-2 in the NFL in average yards per catch, and Russ Francis, the great tight end, and there is their offensive line. All are veterans except the second-year man, Wheeler. Hanna, of course, a perennial All-Pro. Lenkaitis, a 13-year man, is the center. Vagas Ferguson carries on first down, and Ferguson is to the 38-yard line of Buffalo. The Bills also play 3-4. Williams is their top sack man. Smerlis, a Pro Bowl candidate, at nose tackle, and Sherman White at the other side. Sanford, Haslett, Shane Nelson, and the ex-Ram Isaiah Robertson are the linebackers. Mario Clark and Charles Romes are the safeties. Steve Freeman, whose interception and touchdown return helped them to victory in overtime a week ago against the Rams, the strong safety. Bill Simpson, also a former Ram, the free safety. Back to throw is Cavanaugh, the former Pitt quarterback, and he swings it out to Don Calhoun. Calhoun moves inside the 35-yard line, close to a first down, but they'll be short of it. Jim Haslett makes the tackle. It'll be third and a long one.
I spoke to Isaiah Robertson before the game, and I said, Isaiah, what do you guys have to do to win? Isaiah said, these guys are going to come out with screens, draws, reverses, long passes. He said they don't have anything to lose. They're going to put the ball up, and this is the way it's starting out. But I think Buffalo recognizes that. The key is going to be how will they hold up? How will they respond to all these trick kinds of plays?
Third down, and we'll call it 2 from the 33-yard line with 11:20 to play in the first quarter. Vagas Ferguson gets the call. Does he get 2 yards? Yes, and then some. Inside the 25-yard line. There's a flag down on the play. The safeties, Freeman and Simpson, combined on the tackle, and let's see what the call will be. Cal Lepore is the referee today, and there's the rest of his crew. It's against the Patriots. They'll walk back the other way.
The initial indication is going to be holding against the Patriots. They're in very good field position before this penalty anyway, and that's the kind of thing that you don't want to happen.
Holding, 81, offense, third down.
Russ Francis was holding. It cost them 10, back to the 43. It's third down and 12. If the Patriots should lose today, they would not be mathematically eliminated, but they would be virtually eliminated. Not only for the division title, but also a wild card spot. And now the Patriots go into the shotgun. Cavanaugh retreating back into Patriot territory, cocking once and twice and throwing, and he's got his man. Don Westbrook made the catch. Westbrook, who came in as the third wide receiver, took it inside Lucius Sanford, the outside linebacker, who made the stop but too late. They get the yardage they need. They pick up 21 and a first down.
The important thing about this is look at the amount of time that Cavanaugh has to throw the ball. The Bills are only rushing 3 guys. He gets plenty of time. Gets his receiver right in between the zone. He takes a good shot when he catches it. But if they get the time to throw the ball, this guy has the arm to get it to his receivers. And Harold Jackson, a guy who hasn't been used very much in the past, is looking for a big game today.
Jackson goes out wide to the right. They have 2 tight ends, Hasselbeck and Francis, in the lineup now. On first down from the 22-yard line, give it to Vagas Ferguson. Ferguson shedding tacklers, moving inside the 15, dragging people down to the 12. The rookie out of Notre Dame. Close to a first down. Let's see where they spot it. As you can see, he's been having the fine year, 655 yards.
When you said shedding tackles, that's a good way to describe this young player. He doesn't have the blazing speed that some of the running backs in the NFL, but he has great agility, he has good leg strength, and the players on the team characterize him as a tough runner. And that's something that you don't think about when you think about a guy who has this quickness. But when he gets in there, he can really get the yardage.
Second down and actually less than a yard to go for the first. No score, but the Patriots knocking on the door with Ferguson taking it outside for the first down. It'll be first and goal inside the 10-yard line. Fred Smerlis, the nose tackle, makes the tackle.
We're going to hear that name a lot today, Fred Smerlis, playing in that middle, the nose tackle. The guy is very strong, tremendous strength, and he has the ability to take on that center or guard, whoever fires out after him, neutralize the block, and then flow down the line of scrimmage either way.
Matt Cavanaugh on the season has completed 60% of his passes, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Grogan, whom he replaced, had been hitting on 57% of his throws, 18 TDs, 22 picked off. In motion, it's Stanley Morgan. On the ground, Vagas Ferguson, touchdown! Went right through that hole and just sauntered into the end zone untouched. John Hanna and Sam Adams opened the hole up for him.
What a hole that was. I think I could have gone through that hole, maybe even Hubach. Let's take a look at this. These guys up front for the Pats are doing a super job. When Vagas gets this ball and cuts back, there's no one there. The middle linebackers were screened off very effectively, and he walked right into the end zone.
Also have to give some credit to center Bill Lankaitis for his block. So with 8 minutes and 48 seconds remaining, John Smith comes in to kick. Smith trying to add the point after touchdown. He's been perfect on 43 of 43, now 44 in a row on conversion tries for John Smith. So, after taking good field position on the punt, the Patriots take it home with 8:48 left. They lead it 7-0.
You know, I love the fresh, clean smell of barley because I can almost taste the Schlitz beer I'm going to make from it. I'm Frank Sellinger. Recently, I came to Schlitz as chief executive. Mostly, I check on the business end. But after 40 years as a master brewer, I check the barley too, and the other fine grains to make a really smooth beer. Taste my Schlitz.
We're gonna keep moving on today. There are so many things that we can do with aluminum showing the way.
We're gonna recycle, we're gonna innovate, we're moving on, Alcoa can't wait. We can't wait,
We're doing it now.
we can't wait,
We'll show you how.
we can't wait for tomorrow.
Vagas Ferguson, who scores his 2nd touchdown running this season. He has been their leading rusher, but it's been Don Calhoun more often than not who's taken it into the end zone. Calhoun has scored 8 touchdowns on the ground. Mike Hubach kicks off again, and Curtis Brown fields this one a step into the end zone and decides to bring it back. Curtis Brown, 15, 20, 22 or 3-yard line before going down. Gene, the last time these two teams met in Buffalo in October, the Bills dominated and won 31-13 and held the Patriots to just 39 yards rushing for the game. But on that last drive, the Pats moved the ball well on the ground with Ferguson.
Well, they did, but I think what we're going to see, though, from the Pats is we're going to see the ball put in the air more today than they have in the last few games. When Grogan got injured, when he hurt his knees, it's like a baseball picture. Your strength comes from your legs, and he wasn't able to throw the ball effectively. They were 6-2 before he got injured. Now they know they have to get a good start. They're going to put the ball in the air in spite of the fact that they ran well in the initial opening.
Long count from Ferguson, and flags fly before Joe Cribbs can take off. Cal Lepore will give us the indication. Illegal procedure against the Bills. It'll be 1st and 15 coming up.
Bob, I think there's something interesting, even though the game is early, there's something interesting that's happening, and I'm feeling it up here. The Buffalo Bills wanted to make sure that they had their concentration going. Wait till after this.
Ball start, 72. Offense, 1st down.
Ken Jones on the false start, Gene.
Chuck Knox wanted to make sure that his team had their concentration going. They didn't allow anyone in the locker room before the game. What he was trying to avoid was things like that just happened. A false start. The guy bumping the kickoff. They don't want that kind of thing in this game.
Joe Cribbs back almost to the original line of scrimmage. Ray Claiborne from his left corner spot makes the tackle. The last time these teams met in October, Cribbs had the best day of an outstanding rookie season, 2 touchdowns and 118 yards rushing. He came into this game with an even 1,000 yards on the ground, 2nd in his conference to Earl Campbell of Houston. But if you go over to the NFC, he also trails the likes of Peyton, Sims, Anderson, and Dorsett. 3 wide receivers are in. The lone running back is Curtis Brown. 2nd and 12. Ferguson dropping to throw with time and with the receiver. It's caught by Jerry Butler, his 51st catch of the season. Steve Nelson shoves him back.
You see how many red shirts you saw on that ball? That's a good indication that these guys are really fired up. They're not allowing just one man to make the tackle. When the receiver catches that ball, you'll see these red shirts converge on the guy. Butler catches that ball, he knows they're coming, and he's trying to protect it.
They got 5, setting up 3rd and 7. The inside linebackers in a 3-4 will always make more tackles than the other players, but Nelson's lead in tackles for the Patriots is most impressive. He is in on so many plays that inside linebacker or not, it's remarkable.
The center of that defense and a guy that's surely headed for the Pro Bowl this year.
James in as the 5th defensive back, motion along the line, flags fly out of the shotgun. Ferguson goes through with the play. The catch is not good, out of bounds, and let's see what the penalty will be. Butler caught the ball, but not in bounds.
I think New England's going to be offsides. I think they got a little jump there. Tremendous catch on the part of Butler on the sideline. Ferguson's very cool. He stood back there and he waited as long as he had to before he threw that ball. And here's a guy that's just been tremendous this year. Very consistent, very cool. A team needs a good quarterback if they're going to go all the way, and Ferguson can take this ball club all the way.
Ferguson's numbers: 57% completions, 19 touchdowns, 18 have been picked off. Here's Cal Lepore.
Pitch right in. Defense. 3rd down. 3rd down and 2.
So now it's 3rd and 2 from the 31-yard line with 7 minutes and 2 seconds to play in the first quarter. Joe Cribbs and Roosevelt Leaks are in. They give the ball to Cribbs. He needs 2 yards. He may not get it. Change of direction, and he's short of the stick unless they get a very charitable spot. There is also a flag down in the backfield.
That was a late flag, and it was thrown in the area. Usually when it's in that area, it's holding against the offense.
Face mask. Buffalo has a 1st down.
Let's take a look at Cribbs. He has been doing everything for this club this year. Watch how he cuts back. This is one of the things that he does so well. He gets the traffic flowing in one direction, and he has that ability, like O.J. Simpson had when he was at Buffalo, to be able to stop virtually on a dime and accelerate and come upfield, and he's able to get a gain out of something that could have very easily ended up being a loss.
4-0. Defense, the 1st down.
Mike Haynes grabbed the face mask. It's a 1st down. The ball placed at the 35-yard line. 6:56 to play, first quarter. There's Haynes, contract holdout earlier in the season, has come back to reclaim that right corner spot. In his 5th season, the first 4 campaigns saw him go to the Pro Bowl every time. Ferguson will throw on 1st down. Swings it out to Curtis Brown. Brown, 40-yard line, 42, a gain of 7. It'll be 2nd and 3. Steve Nelson again in on the play. Mike Hawkins was there to help him.
Let's take a look at Steve Nelson in the middle. You mentioned before he's in on all the plays. He has a sense of where that ball is going to be. He's a student of the game. He knows what a football team is likely to do, and he has such agility and quickness that he's able to cover a lot of territory.
The Bills are 10-4, and they have beaten the big clubs. They've beaten New England. They beat the Rams last week. They've beaten Pittsburgh. They are a victory away if they win here today. And down goes Ferguson on the sack, which is something that hasn't happened too frequently. Mike Hawkins came in from the outside linebacker spot and sacked him. That is only the 13th time all season that Ferguson has been sacked, lowest total in the entire NFL, and he appears to be hurt on the play. When these teams played back in October in Buffalo, the Patriots did not get to Ferguson a single time. Backup quarterback Dan Minucci, number 11, puts the helmet on and talks to Chuck Knox on the Buffalo sideline. Minucci in his 2nd year out of Kansas State.
That was a broken play. You mentioned they hadn't been sacked much, but this was a broken play and he had no place to go.
We'll have a report on Ferguson when we come back.
When high interest rates keep America from buying the fuel-efficient cars it needs, it's time to do something about it. Starting now, when you buy a new U.S.-built 81 Chrysler, Plymouth, or Dodge passenger car on credit, you can deduct 6% from the sticker price, including options, because we think the interest rates are 6% too high. That number will move up or down depending on a significant change in the prime interest rate. Make your best deal, then get $325 to $1,000 direct from Chrysler. We'll help you buy the car you want.
Well, set for a comfortable evening? I hope so. Then you should be wearing comfortable slacks, like Hager Magic Stretch.
All right.
It's the Hager Expand-O-Matic waistband and special stretch woven fabric of today's Daycron.
Terrific.
They won't squeeze your budget either. In Hager Magic Stretch, you'll feel as good as you look.
What more could a man ask for?
You couldn't ask for more than Hager, especially for the holidays.
It's highlights of the Ice Follies and Holiday on Ice, starring Peggy Fleming with your host, Tony Randall. The world's 2 greatest ice extravaganzas. One day.
They're taking Ferguson off. It looks like either a knee or an ankle. He may be able to come back, but it doesn't look good. This was obviously a broken play. He turned around. Let's take a look at our replay. We have a good shot from the end zone. He turned around to hand the ball off, and he saw that Cribbs didn't want it. Now, I don't know who was at fault, but he didn't have any place to go, and you can see where his knee gets buckled under him.
So now Dan Minucci comes in, and Minucci has been in on only one play from scrimmage all season long, and he has not thrown a pass all season. In a game that Buffalo needs to win to clinch the Eastern Division title, their first championship it would be since 1966 in the old AFL days. They have been a wild card playoff team before, the O.J. Simpson club early in the 70s. Here's Cribbs trying to come outside and going absolutely nowhere in the clutches of Tony McGee. So now the Bills will have to punt again.
Even though the Bills were in that shotgun formation, I don't think they wanted to put the ball in the air right away. They have Minucci in there. He hasn't thrown the ball to any of the receivers, only in practice. You come in this situation, you don't want to put the ball up right away. He's going to be in a tough situation. His receivers are used to having Ferguson throw the ball, and every quarterback is a little different. The pressure's going to be on them now. They may have to change their game plan a little bit.
Greg Cater to kick. Back deep is Roland James, who ranks 4th behind Smith of Kansas City, Fuller of San Diego, and Bell of Pittsburgh in AFC punt returns. And this one goes squibbing off the foot and rolls down inside the 40. Actually, it could be worse considering the roll that they got out of it. And the Patriots will have the ball around their own 37 or 38-yard line following a 29-yard punt by Greg Cater. So with 4:46 to play first quarter, the Patriots have the ball and the lead.
Here's another Radio Shack Christmas gift idea. Soft, cuddly animals with a surprise inside. A radio. What a delightful gift. There's a raccoon, comic cat, brown spaniel, Pekingese, cuddly cat, and country mouse. It's a musical menagerie for kids and teens alike. The gift-priced, petable, portable radios. Only at Radio Shack, your Christmas electronics store.
One of these glasses is Schlitz, and one is Budweiser. Hi, I'm Tommy Bell. During the AFC playoffs, I'll be the referee to find out which beer is preferred, Budweiser or Schlitz, by 100 loyal Bud drinkers on live TV. How many Bud drinkers will pick today's Schlitz? We won't know until the score goes up here, live during the halftime of the AFC playoffs. I'll call it like 100 Bud drinkers tasted. Budweiser versus today's Schlitz in a live taste test.
Back at Schaefer Stadium, Bob Costas along with Gene Washington, when they played in Buffalo a while back, things went the Bills' way. Early breaks to the Patriots here.
Well, so far, that's the big difference. When they were up in Buffalo, the breaks were going for the Bills. Punts like that were going the other way. New England has a lead now. They're getting all the breaks. They're in good field position. If they score now, things are going to be very tough for Buffalo.
It is do or die right now for the Patriots. They started out 6-1. Since then, they've gone 2-5, including very tough losses the last 2 weeks to San Francisco, and then this past Monday night at Miami. They lost a game that they still feel they should have won in overtime against the Dolphins. This has put their backs to the wall. Matt Cavanaugh with a fake and a drop and a pass on first down the right sideline, incomplete, and Stanley Morgan was all alone. Oh, as an ex-receiver, Gene, you've got to feel for that. You've got the defense beaten, and your man misses you.
Well, you said it. He was wide open, and Stanley Morgan can run faster than anyone when he's out in that position. Cavanaugh put the ball up, and I wouldn't be surprised if the wind got it a little bit and carried just a little too far.
Cleveland at Minnesota in a game pitting divisional leaders. 10-4 Browns, 8-6 Vikings. Brian Sipe to Calvin Hill, 18-yard touchdown pass, a 7-0 lead. Houston over Green Bay, 6-zip. Houston chasing Cleveland, a game behind them. Earl Campbell, a 1-yard touchdown run on that game, but they missed the point after. Bradshaw to Swan from 9 yards out in Pittsburgh, battling to stay alive at 8-6, hoping for a wild card, but they need help all around the league. They have a 7-0 lead at home against Kansas City. Vagas Ferguson, who has done yeoman duty in this first quarter, carries on 2nd and 10, and Jim Haslett drives him out of bounds. Atlanta playing at home, and will they ever lose? Bartkowski with a 1-yard touchdown run and a 7-0 lead. New Orleans, will they ever win? 0-14, but 7-0 over the Jets. Don't get excited yet, Saints fans. Last week against San Francisco, they led 35-7. They lost in overtime. 3 wide receivers, Morgan, Jackson, and Westbrook. 3rd and 7 from the 41-yard line. Ferguson, the report on him, sprained left ankle. He heads for the Buffalo locker room. Cavanaugh from out of the shotgun. Dropping deep, swinging one out. Russ Francis has the catch and a first down. Into Buffalo territory before Isaiah Robertson stops him.
Again, Bob, the key, I think, so far is the fact that Buffalo is not rushing more than their 3 down linemen. They're going to be content to sit back and try to cover. They don't want to give up anything cheap. Cavanaugh has plenty of time to throw, therefore his receivers can develop their routes. Russ Francis coming across underneath the coverage. He's so big that he can shield those guys away from the passes. Don Shula, after last week's game, said he's the best tight end in football.
For Francis, his 36th catch of the season. He goes out. Don Hasselbeck comes in. Fake to Calhoun, give it to Ferguson again. Battles for about 3 to the 45-yard line. Jim Haslett tripped him up, number 55. Once again, here are the playoff possibilities, roughly, for New England. If they beat Buffalo and also win next week against New Orleans, and the Bills are beaten by San Francisco, the title belongs to the Patriots. If Buffalo wins today, they have clinched the title and virtually eliminated New England. If New England wins today and they both win next week, Buffalo gets the division, but New England, depending upon what other contenders do, could still get a wild card spot. But they almost have to win both of their remaining games. Stanley Morgan, the intended receiver, and Gene, I'm not so sure that play came off as they had hoped.
Not exactly, but it's an indication of what they're trying to do. First of all, they fake the reverse to Morgan. They want to go with screens. We mentioned before that they want to go with some screens. They fake the reverse. Cavanaugh's faking it to him now. Comes back to the side. Now they're trying to get the ball over to Morgan where he can utilize his speed. We can't see it on the screen, but he had 3 blockers in front of him. The problem is that Cavanaugh didn't put that ball directly there. He laid it up a little bit, and it's windy down on the field, and that wind can carry that ball away, as it did just then.
Ron Earhart lived through a heartbreaker at the Orange Bowl on Monday night. Out of the shotgun and with 3 wide receivers in. Also look for Andy Johnson, number 32. He swings out of the backfield. He's their 3rd down specialist. Cavanaugh tucks it in and runs. Cavanaugh has a first down. Matt Cavanaugh down the sideline, gets out of bounds, avoids the hit, and the Patriots are still rolling.
Isaiah Robertson is down on the... Is it Isaiah? Someone is down on the field from the Bills. Really seem to be in a lot of pain, but Matt Cavanaugh again dropping back to pass, having lots of time to throw the ball, not getting very much pressure. His receivers get downfield. They take the defensive backs, the linebackers with him, so when he breaks the line of scrimmage, there's hardly anyone there to stop him. No one touches him before he gains 20 yards or so.
That's Jeff Nixon, who earlier in the season sat out several weeks with a knee injury. He is hurt again. We'll have a report on him when we come back after this timeout.
It takes a lot of people to put this paper on the street. A few key people make sure it's one of the best around. To protect his key people, the publisher chose one of the Hartford's business life insurance plans, a tax-saving plan with important benefits during working years and for retirement. Don't your key people deserve the same coverage? To protect your business, home, auto, life, call an independent agent who represents the Hartford for a quote. The Hartford, let us protect your world.
America's not going to be pushed around anymore.
Dodge announces an historic breakthrough, the new Omni Miser with the highest highway mileage any American car has ever achieved. Miser squeezes out more gasoline mileage than Toyota Corona, more than Honda Accord, more than VW Rabbit, more than the World Car four-door Ford Escort, and at a lower price, only $52.99. Omni Miser at your Dodge Ram dealer.
Now, Dodge fights high interest rates with 6% off all new 81 cars. Get $325 to $1,000 direct.
Jeff Nixon was off to a marvelous start this season, then missed 8 weeks with a knee injury, just recently reactivated, goes hobbling off after this last play. Let's look at it again.
As I mentioned before, Buffalo wants to avoid a cheap touchdown from New England on reverses, screens, and all that sort of thing. As a result, they're playing conservative in their defense. The receivers have taken all of the linebackers and defensive backs down the field. Cavanaugh breaks that line of scrimmage. He runs down 25 yards or so, and there's no one to touch him. It may backfire. The theory or the defense that the Bills are using so far, being conservative, may backfire on situations just like this.
Buffalo leads the entire NFL in team defense when it comes to fewest yards allowed. However, New England has moved the ball well on them in this first quarter. They lead it 7-0. First and 10 from the 23 of Buffalo. A collision between Cavanaugh and Ferguson gets 2 yards at most before going down. This telecast is presented by authority of the NFL. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the expressed written consent of the New England Patriots and the National Football League is prohibited. Second down and 8 from the 21-yard line. Clock moving, 2.5 minutes to play. Bob Costas with Gene Washington at Schaefer Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. Game time temperature 33 degrees, but the wind chill, they tell us, -10.
I was on the field before the game, and it's very cold, and that wind can have a tremendous effect on some of these passes if they get up a little too high.
Cavanaugh on second down. It goes off the hand of Russ Francis and falls incomplete despite a diving attempt by Jim Haslett for the interception.
When Cavanaugh threw that ball, Russ Francis was not expecting. He was just crossing the face of Isaiah Robertson. Let's take a look from the end zone angle. Francis is surprised by this ball. He's not ready for it just yet. Isaiah is right there in good position. And one thing about Buffalo, when you get down on their 20-yard line or so, they have stiffened up very well. They play a lot like Denver did when they went to the Super Bowl. They bend, but they don't break.
Again, the shotgun. 3 wide receivers in. The Patriots have converted 3 of 3 third down situations in the first quarter. Cavanaugh is under pressure. He's rolling right. He is in big trouble. He is out of bounds.
The difference that time, Bob, is that Buffalo changed up their coverage. Instead of just rushing the 3 down linemen, I think they brought Lucius Sanford. We might see him come in on this, put a little more pressure on the quarterback. Don't allow him the time to throw the ball. We see Sanford chasing him. Now they're getting that kind of defense that they need so that they can't allow the quarterback to take off and run for 20 yards or so. And I think we may continue to see them do this. They may start to bring the linebackers a little bit more.
So now in comes John Smith. Smith for the season has hit 24 of 31 field goal attempts between 40 and 49 yards. He's 3 of 6. This one is a 40-yarder. Cavanaugh for the hole at the 30. Smith with the kick. Long enough, but wide to the left and no good. John Smith is the NFL's active career leader. All active kickers. Among those with 100 or more field goals in their career, Smith is the accuracy leader, hitting almost 69%, but he misses this one wide to the left.
I think by his expression, we'll be able to tell. We already know he missed it, but he's going to let everyone know. He's trying to give a little body English. Didn't work.
I imagine that doesn't hurt nearly as much as the one that Bob Baumhauer blocked on the last play of regulation Monday night at the Orange Bowl. What a difference that would make. Had that kick gone through the uprights, the whole playoff situation would be different for the Patriots. So Buffalo dodges a bullet. We have 2 reserve quarterbacks in. Minucci, however, by far the least experienced of the 2, and Minucci experiences a sack. Coming in on him, Ray Sugar Bear Hamilton to dump him. That's That's the second time a Buffalo quarterback has been sacked today. The first time, they not only got Ferguson for the loss, but knocked him out of the game with the injured ankle.
Bob, I can sense that New England is really fired up. It's a feeling that you have. It's very difficult to describe. But when they get things going like they have going for them now, they get the breaks, the quarterback for the other team goes out, they get more enthusiastic, and that's the result of what happens.
So Minucci against Cavanaugh. With Grogan and Ferguson sidelined. They lost 11 on the sack. 2nd and 21. They call on Curtis Brown, and Brown lowers his head and bulls out near the 20-yard line. Tony McGee, number 78, makes the stop. Next Saturday, start your day with NFL 80 and host Bryant Gumbel, bringing you all the inside news on the climactic final weekend of the regular season, plus a special feature on the sounds of football. Then stay tuned for a unique treatment of the game between the Jets and the Miami Dolphins from the Orange Bowl. I guess you and I will not be called upon to broadcast that particular game. Immediately following, it's college basketball as the Indiana Hoosiers meet the North Carolina Tar Heels, all here on NBC Sports. We will use announcers for the basketball game. Minucci to the sideline, and the catch is made by Roland Hooks. And Hooks has a first down for Buffalo before being shoved out.
It's an excellent throw and an even better catch on the part of Roland Hooks. He caught that ball, and he had to be like one of the best catchers in baseball, because someone on the New England Pats took a swipe at that ball there. As a receiver, that's a very disconcerting thing to have happen. You have your eyes on that football and somebody weighs in front of it, and to be able to catch that ball in that situation, especially for a running back, is a tremendous job.
Hooks to the sideline after making the catch. The 6th-year man out of North Carolina State. Brown and Cribbs are now the running backs. Butler and Lewis the wide receivers. 43 seconds to play first quarter, trailing 7-0 from their own 41. They give it to Brown, and Brown gets one grudging yard at most before Mike Hawkins stops him, number 59.
One thing, if you look at a Chuck Knox football team, when he was out in Los Angeles and had the Rams, I think he was there 5 years, and I was in San Francisco. We just couldn't beat those guys. I think we might have beaten them once, but his teams can be characterized as being consistent football teams. They're in a situation now where their starting quarterback is out, but I think that you will continue to see the consistent play, particularly in that offensive line. They don't do a lot of fancy things. They don't get a lot of yards per carry, but when the game ends, they end up with lots of yards and lots of time of possession on offense.
The gun goes off, and that is the end of the first quarter. When we come back, Buffalo ball from their 42, 2nd and 9 after 15 minutes, 7-zip Patriots.
Open up.
Finished.
And taste the moment.
We're just beginning.
This time, the best is just what you
Okay,
deserve.
let's make it official.
You brought out the best?
It's on me. It's on us.
It's time for Erlanger. One look, one sip, one taste will tell you this beer is a classic.
Now we're really in business.
Come and taste the moment, Erlanger. We're Exxon. We're Hal Siegel, who's managing a $900 million program to produce oil and gas this year. We're Jack Clemens, whose seismic crew is seeking hidden oil and gas in a Texas marsh. We're Dean Black, working to bring an old oil field back to life in Illinois. We're Herman Hillis, drilling deep beneath Louisiana for natural gas. We're Joan Williams, in charge of a $19 million oil project in West Texas. We're more than 100,000 people working on energy. We're Exxon.
I'm not very good at this, but here.
It's the thrill that you feel when your dreams become real. It's the look in her eyes when she's caught by surprise, like the moment you met that you'll never forget.
Christmas is over.
When you give diamonds, you get so much in return.
Oh, honey.
Make the magic last forever.
Joe Ferguson is back, Gene, but obviously hobbling around.
I don't think there's any chance that he's going to come back and play. His ankle is hurt so much that I don't think he could be effective at all. I think what he has to hope for is that they're going to win today. He can get his treatment during the week and come back next week to play.
Patriots dominating most of the first quarter stats, and on the scoreboard they lead 7-0. The burden on the youngster Dan Minucci. A flag is down as he swings it out to Joe Cribbs, and it falls incomplete.
Thrown in the area where it's usually holding against the offensive line.
Cribbs came into today's game with 1,000 yards rushing, 38 receptions on the season, second-round pick out of Auburn, and a lot of people are now wondering, how did he last as long as he did in the draft?
Well, sometimes you get a guy who plays better once he gets into a situation where he's playing with better athletes. The guy is a tremendous athlete, no question about that.
9, offense, second down.
Conrad Dobler holding on the play, and Ferguson is going off again. He was already to the locker room once, came back out, apparently to try and convince the coaches that he was ready to give it a go, but they weren't buying that.
I think he's going in to take a shower and get warm, because there's no chance that he's going to play anymore today.
You know who Cribbs reminds me of a little bit? Terry Metcalf, in terms of the things he can do. The way he carries the ball, a pass receiver, and also can run back kicks and punts. They're similar in size as well. Minucci dropping back on 2nd and 19. This is Cribbs, who gathers it in, moves across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Bob Golick and Steve Nelson, pair of linebackers, combined to stop him.
Another interesting statistic about Joe Cribbs is that his longest run from scrimmage, I believe, is 21 yards. And a guy that has 1,000 yards, you would think would have broken one for 45 or 60 or so. But I think that's sort of indicative of the style of football that Chuck Knox plays, which is possession football, and that's the way everything is designed. We may not get big gainers, but we're going to get a lot of small ones.
Cribbs has scored 12 touchdowns this year. Second in the entire league behind another rookie, Billy Sims of Detroit. The Lion Prize has 14 scores. 3rd and 15 from the 36. With Hooks and Cribbs as the backs, Minucci steps up and throws, and his bullet is gathered in by Jerry Butler. Butler running laterally may not have the first down. I don't know if he realized, Gene, where the stick was. They got 14 yards on the play, and if Butler had simply lunged forward and gone down after catching it, he would have had what he needed, but he ran laterally and comes up short by a yard.
He's a tremendous athlete. He gets into the middle, and watch how he jumps to catch this ball. A lot of people at home may wonder, why does the receiver jump when he only has to put his hands up? You do this because when you catch that ball, and if someone's there and hits you at the same time, you're braced and you can hold on to it. I think you had it right. He didn't know exactly where the stick was. Otherwise, he would have turned up and gotten the first down right away. But I think he had a chance, or he felt he had a chance, to come across field and break it for a longer gainer.
But this has been a demolition derby so far. That's Julius Adams, who is down on the field. We'll come back with the Bills preparing to punt after this.
Reaching your financial goal is never as simple as some people would have you believe. You have to know exactly where you're going and make the right decisions at the right time. At Merrill Lynch, it's our skill at guiding you through the intricacies of investing that makes us what we are. Merrill Lynch, a breed apart.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and to yours. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Season's greetings from the Denny's family to yours.
It's the all-new Osmond Family Christmas Show, starring Donnie and Marie, with guests Greg Evigan, Doug Henning, and Peggy Fleming.
Merry Christmas!
Monday.
Julius Adams went off under his own power, apparently just shaken up on the play. And now with 4th and 1 and the ball at midfield, and 13 minutes and 44 seconds to play in the first half, Greg Cater is in, and Roland James is back to field his punt. Cater kicked one 42 yards the first time he put it. The last one went off the side of his foot, and he was lucky to get 27 yards out of it with the roll. James standing at his own 10-yard line. They've only got 3 seconds to snap this. Maybe they want to take the penalty to give him more room to go for the coffin corner.
I don't think it was intentional.
It's going to cost them 5 either way.
They were trying to change things around a bit, trying to kick the ball away to get it to the farther side of the field over there. They didn't want to take that penalty. It's just worked out that way. It's another example of what I talked about before.
Offense, 4th down.
Maybe they're trying too hard to have their concentration go the right way, and it just seems to be having the opposite effect.
Cater came into the game averaging 38.5. 14 of his kicks have gone for touchbacks. He's put 12 inside the 20. That's what he's aiming to do right now, but it's going to come up way short of that. It's fielded by Roland James. James trying to come left, reverses his field, and down he goes at the 20-yard line. A 36-yard kick by Cater. No return from James. 13:33 on the clock at Schaefer Stadium. Patriots with the 7-0 lead and the ball back at their 20.
Introducing the revolutionary twin action shaving system engineered to outperform twin blades. The new Norelco Rotatract razor. Inside 3 floating heads, Rotatract works like twin blades to grip hair. Raise it up, then razor it off, hundreds of times a second for a shave that's twin blade close without a nick or cut. The new twin action Norelco Rotatract razor, cord and rechargeable. Twin blade closeness, but no gotcha.
Ram Tough, the XM1 tank, America's newest battle ram. Ram Tough Dodge, America's new full-size pickup. Like the XM1 tank, designed and built by Chrysler, with Ram Tough carbon steel frames, 7 steel cross members. More than Ford or Chevy. XM1 tank, Dodge trucks, built by Chrysler for America's toughest jobs.
Dodge trucks are Ram Tough.
Dodge Ram 150 pickup prices start at $59.97.
This is Brian Gumble in New York at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. The Oilers have moved ahead of the Packers. Rob Carpenter on a 46-yard dash. He pushed out at the 1. From there, Earl Campbell takes it over, but Chester Markle missed the point after. So the Oilers lead the Packers 6-0. Let's go back to Foxborough.
Okay, thanks, Bryant. Patriots preparing to put it in play. Matt Cavanaugh is 3 of 6 so far for 37 yards. In Stanley Morgan and Harold Jackson, he has 2 great wide receivers. They don't rank that high in the NFL in total catches, but they are 1-2, Morgan first and Jackson second, in average yards per catch, both averaging better than 20 yards per reception. They keep it on the ground with Vagas Ferguson, who has been carrying the load for them in this first half, picking up 4 yards out to the 24. Gene, we mentioned Morgan and Jackson. When these teams met in Buffalo in October, the Bills' defense held each to just 1 catch.
Well, I think the significant thing about what's happened with Stanley Morgan and Harold Jackson is that you have 2 of the fastest, truly the fastest wide receivers in football. And for the last 4 or 5 weeks, these guys have really not been utilized. And that's something I'd like to come back to a little later.
Jackson goes to the sidelines. 2 tight ends in. Hasselbeck joining Francis. Hasselbeck good enough to start for most clubs. Mosi Tatupu, who wears number 30, has replaced Don Calhoun, but it's Vagas Ferguson again who carries across the 30-yard line for the first down before Jim Haslett makes the tackle. 12:40 to play, second quarter, and Cavanaugh has moved the Patriots well in the first half.
First down for the Patriots.
Let's take a look. Fred Smerlis, the center of that Buffalo Bill defense, really gets a shot this time and gets neutralized. The result is that the Pats come up with a good gain. And you mentioned that number 30, Tatupu, was in there, and they put him in for his good blocking ability, and he went in there and did a job that time.
Interior line play thus far has been a reversal from the meeting in Buffalo. The Patriots have sacked Buffalo quarterbacks twice. They never got to Ferguson when they played in October. And here is Tatupu carrying. Outside, straight arming his man, Charles Romes. There's a flag down on the play as he moves across the 35. Now let's see who they call this against. Isaiah Robertson pleading his case. Chuck Knox also unhappy. That indicates it's against Buffalo. Face mask, as I thought.
Knox is obviously upset. I think what he's saying is that one of the linemen for the Pats was holding one of his defensive players.
Personal foul, face mask, 26, defense, first down.
Charles Romes not only took a straight arm from Tatupu and was rolled over, but he gets hit with a penalty. I like that little act by Knox. That was very theatrical.
You know, what happens in that situation? If you're a defensive back, running back comes out there and straight arms you, you're trying to grab him, you grab the first thing you can. Unfortunately, it was a face mask, but you can't blame Rome.
They get a first down at the 41, and Ferguson gets a couple of yards before being stopped. In addition, we were talking about the interior line play before. In addition to their work defensively, getting 2 sacks, the offensive line of the Patriots obviously is springing their running game much better than they did in Buffalo a couple of months ago when they gained only 39 yards on the ground for the entire game. In this first half alone, Ferguson has carried 10 times for 47.
Well, there's one person on that offensive line, number 74 for the Pats, Shelby Jordan, who is just having a great year, the most improved offensive lineman from last season, and largely responsible for their success out there today, and a guy who may be in the Pro Bowl this year, too.
They're going to run Ferguson here till he drops. That's his 11th carry, and it will leave them with 3rd down and 3.
This gives us a chance to get back to this issue of Harold Jackson and Stanley Morgan, 2 guys who've been tremendous wide receivers and have been, in my opinion, underutilized in the last 3 or 4 weeks. But I think there's a very good reason for it. When their quarterback went down with the injury, came in with a new quarterback, Cavanaugh came in, he wasn't able to get the ball to these guys the way they had been in the past. Therefore, they tried to be more conservative and run the ball more.
There's Francis in motion. Rufus Bess is in as the nickelback for Buffalo now that Jeff Nixon has been hurt. Cavanaugh throws on 3rd down, and it's intercepted. Bill Simpson picks it off. Simpson is back to midfield for Buffalo. The Bills are now +6 for the season on the giveaway takeaway table. The Patriots are -3, a 13-yard return after the interception by Simpson.
I saw Bill Simpson do this too many times out in Los Angeles when he was playing against my team, San Francisco. This guy reads very well. It looks like the pass was thrown to him because he reads that quarterback so well. He doesn't have the speed that he once had, but he still has great anticipation, a great athlete, and this is a result of tremendous play on the part of Bill Simpson.
Jackson was the intended receiver. It never got there. Buffalo has a chance to get back in it.
America's truly great beers have always been rich and pure, brewed solely for taste. A part of this tradition lives on in a beer called Erlanger, a beer of exceptional quality. It's brewed so skillfully, with such choice ingredients, that just one look, one sip, one taste will tell you here is a classic. Erlanger, keeping the great moments of brewing tradition alive for you.
Dial-in has national sports news. It's too attractional just to call National Sports for all the latest reports. We're talking national sports news. We've got it all. 900. What a wonderful call. 900-976-1313. 900-976-1313. Dial-in. We're talking to you.
College basketball is off to a flying start as America's most exciting premier point guard Isaiah Thomas and the Hoosiers of Indiana take on the North Carolina Tar Heels Saturday on NBC.
For Simpson, that was his 4th interception of the year, and the 23rd pass the Bills have picked off as a team this season. From midfield, Dan Minucci, who has hit 3 of 3 for 40 yards in relief of the injured Joe Ferguson, goes back to work. His club trails at 7-0, 10:38 to play second quarter. Sunny but very cold Schaefer Stadium in Foxborough. Curtis Brown grinding out some yardage before Rod Schote makes the tackle. He got about 7 on the play, 2nd and 3 coming up. Cleveland with a 7-0 lead. That's now in the second quarter at Minnesota. Houston into the second quarter with Green Bay and a 6-0 lead on the floundering Packers. Pittsburgh, a glimmer of a chance remains for Chuck Noll's club, 7-0 over Kansas City. Cardinals and Philly scoreless at Veterans Stadium. Second and 3 yards to go. Joe Cribbs trying to sweep. Blockers in front of him. But nothing. They lose yardage on the play. Conrad Dobler got out in front of him, but Steve Nelson broke it down and made the tackle.
This New England defense continues to play enthusiastic football. Steve Nelson, number 57, continued to lead the way. And that's one of the things about a 3-4 defense. It's very difficult to run wide against a 3-4 because that's why they have 4 linebackers back there, guys that have good agility, and they want to be able to take away any pursuit angles, and they've done it very well, and they're doing a tremendous job today. This New England ball club is very fired up, and you can feel it up here in the booth.
They set up shotgun on 3rd and 4. Actually, it's closer to 5 yards to go. Manucci scrambling right. Got to get to the 40. He's there and then some. Across the 30-yard line and out of bounds. A first down for Buffalo.
The thing about that, it looks like it's like deja vu. I think we've seen that before, except it was the other team carrying the ball. We see the rush. He's dropping back. He gets a good rush. He gets outside, and I tell you, he has good speed. He looks like a halfback running down the sideline.
17-yard pickup and a Buffalo first down.
But you can tell he's a quarterback. He's smart enough to run out of bounds before he gets hit.
9:07 remaining. What an opportunity for Manucci. With Ferguson injured, he could be at the helm in a division-clinching game for the Bills. A win today, and the title is theirs in the AFC East. Fake to Cribbs, off play action. Manucci is in trouble. There's the 3rd New England sack of the day. And for the season, the Patriots now have 38 sacks. Julius Adams, who was shaken up earlier but has returned to the Patriot lineup, brought him down for the big loss. And let's look at it again.
Julius Adams leads the club in sacks. He gets a little help from Rod Schode on the outside. They're blitzing the outside backer coming from that short side, the blind side of the quarterback. They put tremendous pressure, get them back for a nice loss, move them further back from that end zone.
Ball back near the 39-yard line, loss of 11, 2nd and 21 coming up, clock moving, 8:45 to play second quarter. The Patriots on the Vagas Ferguson touchdown run lead it 7-0. Butler and Lewis are the wide receivers. Cribbs trying to sweep, might throw off of it. Dipsy-do comes back to Manucci. Now this is a lateral. Manucci has to pick it up, and he falls down near the 50, then loses the football, but it goes out of bounds. So it still belongs to Buffalo. Manucci had the presence of mind, at least, to pursue the ball because it was a lateral after Cribbs threw it backwards.
He sure did. But this is something you might expect to see from the Pats, not from Buffalo, who's been playing fairly conservative football, to pull one out like this. If it had worked, it would have been a great call.
I'll tell you, it's something I'd expect to see from the Bad News Bears, considering the way it came off.
The guy who was responsible for that play not working was 85, Julius Adams. He hustled all the way over there and put his hands up in front of Joe Cribbs, who may be giving away about 6 inches in height, and now he knows what it's like to be a quarterback, to throw that ball with a big defensive lineman barreling down on you.
3rd and a long city block for the first down as we look at Julius Adams. Out of the shotgun, they need 28 yards. Manucci cranks it up, throws it incomplete, and a good Buffalo opportunity has gone by the boards, and Greg Cater will punt for the 4th time in this first half.
New England came with their 4-man rush, didn't give Manucci long to throw the ball, tried to get it to Hooks, but had it too far out in front. Roland Hooks had no chance to catch it.
Roland James again retreats to his own 10-yard line. Greg Cater, rookie out of Tennessee, Chattanooga, to kick. 10th round draft choice this year. Replaced Rusty Jackson this season as the Buffalo punter. It's off a high one. And into the end zone it goes for the touchback. It's a 45-yard punt for the touchback. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. We have 8 minutes and 13 seconds to play second quarter. Patriots with the ball, and they still have the 7-0 lead.
Clint and Clyde are back in any which way you can, taking on bikers and buffoons, gangsters and goons, and some very attractive young ladies. It's a rib-tickling, thigh-slapping, belly-whopping punch-out of a good time. See Clint Eastwood and the whole Every Which Way But Loose gang in Any Which Way You Can. Rated PG. It'll knock you out. Opens Wednesday, December 17th. Check newspaper for local listing.
Is the Energizer just another battery? Is Christmas just another day? The Energizer from Ever-Ready Technology. Of all leading brands, nothing outlasts, nothing outperforms the Energizer. Switch to the Energizer and keep your gifts running long. Photo flash, calculator, toy, they'll tell you, energize me.
The Energizer, energize for life.
Long life.
NBC's going to bowl you over starting December 26th as Art Schlichter leads Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl. New Year's Day, it's the Rose Bowl, followed by the primetime pageantry of the Orange Bowl.
Sunny skies over Schaefer Stadium, but it's awfully cold. The wind chill down below zero. A moment ago, the fans here were up on their feet and cheering as Stanley Morgan and Harold Jackson led the cheers, exhorting the crowd to get behind the Patriots. Jackson has been an inspirational force on this New England club. In his 13th year out of Jackson State, despite his diminutive size, 5'10" and 175, he has never missed an NFL game, playing in his 175th in a row this afternoon. Ferguson trying to come outside. Vagas Ferguson stutter stepping for a gain of 3 to the 23. Jim Haslett, the tackler.
New England went with a 2 tight end offense that time, bringing Stanley Morgan out. Let's take a look. Haslett flowing down the line of scrimmage. Look at the speed. He has tremendous speed for a linebacker. All linebackers in a 3-4 should have good quickness, but he has exceptional speed, and we got a good shot of it there as he accelerated and made the tackle.
Cavanaugh breaks the huddle with Morgan coming wide right and Jackson wide to the left. Morgan has caught 6 touchdown passes this year, but 5 of them came in the Pats' first 4 games. He's had only 1 scoring catch in the last 10. Ferguson again. Ferguson out across the 25, leaving them with 3rd down and about 4 as we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
WBAL-TV, Channel 11 in Baltimore.
Bob Costas and Gene Washington in Foxborough, Massachusetts. New England up over Buffalo in a do-or-die situation for the Pats. 7-0. Matt Cavanaugh has been the New England quarterback from the outset. A week ago, he also played, actually Monday night, against Miami, completing 12 of 16 in relief of the injured Steve Grogan, who's bothered by a knee problem. Joe Ferguson, the Buffalo starter, hurt his ankle early in the game. Dan Minucci has replaced him. Cavanaugh's pass juggled and then caught by Russ Francis for a first down at the 35.
Russ Francis, a very big target, utilizes that great size. He's a savvy guy. You look at the move. He's trying to get away. He breaks clear. Takes his eye off the ball just a little bit, but has time to reach back and get it. When you have 2 wide receivers on the outside with the speed that they have, this enables Francis to maneuver in that middle. So if the defensive club wants to try to double both guys on the outside, that leaves it wide open for Russ Francis in the middle. And we may see them going to him more in the middle because they have such speed on the outside.
1st and 10 from the 35 with 6:40 left. Don Calhoun, his first carry of the day, 4 yards to the 39-yard line. Bill Simpson, who made the interception earlier, is in on the tackle. Lucius Sanford there as well.
I love it when he runs with the football. The first time I was here and he ran with the ball, he had a positive gain, and I thought the fans were booing, but what they're saying is, hoo, hoo, hoo. It's great.
Longtime backup to Sam Bam Cunningham, and Cunningham not signed this season after a contract dispute. Calhoun gets a chance to start. Hasselbeck and Francis are both in, both on the right side, and a 2 tight end set. 2nd and 6. Cavanaugh fakes, then swings outside. Stanley Morgan. Morgan driven out of bounds near the 45-yard line, close to a first down. That's a play they frequently use, trying to get Morgan, the speedster, a little bit of room to run.
Well, he certainly has the speed to break it from any place on the field, but this is the kind of play that the Bills are looking for. As soon as it was there, they had people flowing. They get a gain, they get the first down, but they don't get the big gain that they were looking for.
Thursday at 8 Eastern Time, games people play with the finals of the 3-ton tug of war, where you'll see the New Orleans Firemen battle the Steelworkers from Pittsburgh. Then a fun look at the world's shortest pro basketball team, led by Billy Barty, and an inspiring visit with marathoner Peter Stredwick, plus much, much more on Games People Play, Thursday at 8 Eastern Time on NBC. Cavanaugh's 5 of 9 for 52 yards so far in the first half. 5:50 to play until halftime. Ferguson in trouble. Turns it into a good game. Across midfield to the 48. He made 7 yards almost entirely on his own.
He had John Hanna out in front, but Hanna was tripped up, fell down. Vegas Ferguson just stepped over him, got a positive gain on his own. Let's take a look from the end zone. The linebackers are converging. They're getting their good direction. They're flowing well. But Ferguson, he mentioned before, he has a good ability to cut back. He has good leg strength, and he knows how to get positive yardage. When he sees an opening, he goes right for it, and he takes that positive gain right away.
14 carries for 63 yards for Vagas Ferguson, and they call his number again. He is close to a first down, near the 45-yard line of Buffalo. Might be close enough to measure. The officials are calling timeout. Fred Smerlis, the nose tackle, tripped him up.
Whenever you see a running back getting gains like that, where he gets the football, no one touches him before he's 2 yards or so beyond the line of scrimmage, that means you're getting a tremendous effort from that offensive line. Sam Adams, Shelby Jordan, John Hanna, Dwight Wheeler, all these guys are doing a tremendous job. You can look at the expression on Knox's face. He's not very happy about the result so far.
Ferguson gets a brief rest. Horace Ivory comes in to replace him. Ferguson has had one game of 100 yards this year. He had exactly 100 3 weeks ago against the Colts. He came into this game with 655 for the season, averaging 3.7 per carry. Might be on his way to a 100-yard day today. Horace Ivory carries, and the fourth-year man from Oklahoma gets 2, maybe 3 on first down. The clock moving, 4 minutes and 20 seconds to play, second quarter. And the Patriots, who scored on their first drive after they took over on the 40-yard line of Buffalo, the Bills had to punt from out of their own end zone after the game's first possession, still have that 7-0 lead.
The Patriots have the lead, but they may be doing something. They may be making a mistake in my mind. It looks as though they're willing to sit on this lead. They're the kind of ball club that can explode. They can get a 21-point lead, not a 7-point lead, but they're going with a 2 tight end offense, and it looks like they're willing to sit on it.
Cavanaugh swings it out to Horace Ivory. Ivory has another first down. Inside the 35-yard line, Steve Freeman, the strong safety, on the tackle.
As soon as I say they're going to sit on their lead, they put the ball in the air. Let's take a look at the replay. He's dropping back. He continues to get lots of time to throw the ball. Ivory comes underneath the coverage. The linebackers in their deep drops. Turns upfield, gets a nice gain. Let's see what they do from this point on. This is a good place to continue to throw the ball because the end zone is not working against you. Your receivers have time or an area to run. When you get closer down there, those defensive backs will use that end zone as a help to them because they know the guy can't go too far deep.
Calhoun barely back to the line of scrimmage, if that. Nothing but white shirts around him as the Bills converge on the play, led by Jim Haslett. Patriots 8-6 overall. Here at Schaefer Stadium, 5-2. Away from home, 3-3. Patriots may be looking at it this way, Gene. The weather conditions will not get much better. It looks like a pretty day. It is a pretty day, but it's not that comfortable. It's very cold and it's windy. Dan Minucci, for all practical purposes a rookie, is in at quarterback in place of the injured Joe Ferguson. They go up by a couple of touchdowns by halftime. They're in good shape. Cavanaugh, a wobbler. Francis almost held on, but couldn't.
Francis almost came up with it, even though he had to come back 3 or 4 yards to try to make the catch. I'm not exactly sure why that ball came out of there looking like a dead duck. Maybe it slipped. It's cold down there, and sometimes it's tough to get a grip on the ball, even for the quarterback. Francis almost makes a super catch, just can't quite make it.
So it's going to be 3rd and 10 from just outside the 32-yard line. There's Harold Jackson alongside Francis. Jackson for the season has caught 32 passes, but only 9 of those receptions have come during the last 7 weeks. So Jackson and Morgan have not been quite as potent the past couple of months as they were during the first half of the season. Cavanaugh from the shotgun. They need 10 yards. He scrambled for a first down earlier. He tucks this one in and goes out of bounds, and they are way short of what they need. Ben Williams was chasing him.
By number 26,
Williams is Buffalo's best pass rusher, leading them in sacks.
Let's take a look at the pressure. Number 77, Ben Williams, is coming in there. He has put tremendous pressure on the quarterback, but you also saw a shot of 83, Sherman White, and he's a guy that forces quarterback to come out of the pocket. It's kind of interesting. Matt's trying to fake that guy out. Still has a chance to throw the ball, but he knows he's not going to throw it. And the best thing to do is to get out of bounds and try to get out before someone hurts you.
4th and 8 from the 30, and they will go for it. It would be a 47-yard attempt if they had gone for the John Smith field goal. The longest he has ever kicked was 49. Instead, they go for the first. They need 8 yards. Cavanaugh has those 8 yards. Russ Francis, 10, 5-yard line, 1st and goal. A daring maneuver by Ron Earhart. A 25-yard pickup.
Tackle on the play by Team Freeman. 2 minutes left to play in the first half of play here at Kansas City. Another score, the New England Patriots 7. Buffalo Bills nothing.
Let's take a look at the replay. The reason that Russ Francis is able to get open is that the Buffalo defense has double covered both guys on the outside. Therefore, the only people that can cover Russ Francis are the linebackers, Lucius Sanford and Shane Nelson. They just can't stay up with him.
We have reached the 2-minute warning. The Patriots lead 7-0, and they're knocking on the door. 1st and goal.
I didn't think you could improve on a Kodak pocket camera until I used one of the unique new Kodak cameras with built-in electronics Sense-A-Light flash. It turns itself on and automatically flashes whenever you need more light. It even turns itself off. You'll never worry about a flash again. A new extra light camera with Sense-A-Light flash. A great way to wrap up Christmas gift giving. I trust my stories to cameras and film from Kodak, America's storyteller.
The Hartford found the real danger at a southeastern oceanarium lurking here, the busy highway separating the oceanarium from the parking lot. A loss prevention study that came with the Hartford's comprehensive business insurance policy recommended changes that help prevent accidents. To protect your business, home, auto, or life, call an independent agent who represents the Hartford for a quote. The Hartford, let us protect your world.
The Patriots and Coach Ron Earhart have been stung in recent weeks by press criticism in the Boston area. One writer called them a group of losers. Another has criticized Earhart for being too conservative. They weren't conservative that time, going for it on 4th and 8. And they look like anything but losers against their top competition in the AFC East so far today. And Cleveland looking to take control in the Central against the NFC Central leader, Minnesota, 13-0 in the 2nd quarter. Brian Sipe has thrown for a touchdown and run for another. A Jan Stenerud field goal has closed the gap between the Packers and the Oilers. 2 minutes to play, first half. 3 tight end attack. Calhoun carries, and he is belted at the line of scrimmage and gets nothing. Shane Nelson coming up from the inside linebacker spot.
The Bills stuffed them. When they get down there, they get very tough. It's going to be interesting, though, to see what they do. Whether the Pats keep the ball on the ground and go for the field goal, or whether they take a couple of shots and throw the ball into the end zone. I think they should put the ball in the air because I think they need to have a commanding lead going into half other than just a 10-point lead.
3 tight ends with Bill Lenkaitis back in at center. Pete Brock, normally a center, playing in the slot as a tight end with Francis and Hasselbeck. The running backs are Ferguson and Mosi Tatupu. Fake to Tatupu. Cavanaugh will throw. Lobbing to the end zone. Touchdown, Russ Francis. He beat Charles Romes and beat him big.
What happened is that they faked the run. Francis blocked down, then released and came all the way across field. Utilized his height and his speed. Let's take a look. Francis got good move. You see that fake to his right, comes back across to his left. Beats Charles Romes by 2 or 3 yards. Wide open.
By John Smith.
Looks like they do it every week.
Matt Cavanaugh will hold.
Made it look easy, doesn't he?
7th touchdown reception of the season for Russ Francis. Cavanaugh will hold. Smith, who hasn't missed a point after try all season, will try and make it 45 in a row this year. Perfect. A minute and 15 seconds to play in the first half, and the Patriots are very much alive in the AFC East.
She's young, she's pretty, she's full of laughter. Sharon Eisenhower of North Tonawanda, New York. The hard reality is that Sharon has crippling arthritis, a disease that affects over 31 million people in America. Hi, I'm Joe Ferguson of the Buffalo Bills on an outing at the Buffalo Zoo with some of the children from the Arthritis Foundation here in Buffalo. All over America, the United Way supports arthritis foundations and clinics so we can help children overcome this disease. Right now, there's no known cure, but we're working for prevention and a cure, and someday, God willing, we'll find them. These children are the reason the United Way exists. Whatever the disease, the United Way wants to bring help and hope to people everywhere. The United Way works here, and thanks to you, it works for all of us, the United Way. Right, honey?
The preceding announcement was furnished as a public service by the National Football League. The touchdown toss was the 5th of the season for Matt Cavanaugh. Hubach will kick it off. Because of the wind, they had to hold it for him. They kick it short, taken by one of the up men out across the 25-yard line, and the Patriots are down quickly on the coverage. The tackle is made by reserve linebacker Bill Matthews, number 53. The ball was returned by Chris Keating, one of Buffalo's backup linebackers, number 52. So they took no chances, didn't want Hooks or Brown to handle the ball. Manucci is 3 of 4 since Ferguson went out with the injured ankle. 40 yards net passing. He's also been sacked a couple of times. On another occasion, he took off for a first down run. Curtis Brown carries.
Curtis Brown gets the call.
He's out to the 30-yard line. 2nd down and 7 coming up with exactly a minute to play until halftime, and Buffalo apparently not very interested in stopping the clock, although they do have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. It took the Patriots 15 plays to go 80 yards. They kept the ball almost 7 minutes before Cavanaugh hit Francis in the end zone.
I think what Buffalo wants to do is to go into the locker room. I think they may have to redesign their game plan somewhat, except for a play like this.
Here's Joe Cribbs. Cribbs rambling into New England territory. Did the fumble come after the whistle? No. The Patriots have the ball. Rod Schote makes the fumble recovery, number 56.
Mentioned at the top of the game, the breaks seem to be going towards New England, just the opposite of what happened in their first meeting. This is the perfect example. Cribbs breaks loose. They get into position. Let's take a look at the replay. They're just trying to hold the ball, go in, regroup, breaks loose, gets a good gainer, and what happens? Gets down and he fumbles the ball, lose their chance for a field goal, won't get any points now.
Rick Sanford's hit caused the fumble. Joe Cribbs took off on his longest run from scrimmage of the season, but it ends with a fumble recovered by Rod Schote. Now Cavanaugh looking to pad the New England advantage out of the shotgun on first down, goes down. Credit that sack to Ben Williams.
Joe Cribbs, if I'm correct, fumbled the ball 3 times last week. Fumbled again today. Maybe that's an indication that he might be doing too much. Lots of passes, has run the ball very well, but this is a long season for a rookie who's used to playing 11 games. Now he's playing 20 games.
Now the Patriots are not interested in stopping the clock. They too have 3 timeouts, so Joe Cribbs can breathe a sigh of relief. His fumble did no harm. The clock will run out, and the Patriots are content to take a 14-0 lead into the locker room. The first time the Patriots got the ball, they had it at the 40-yard line of Buffalo. The opening kickoff had bounced over the head of Curtis Brown and gone out of bounds at the 2. They punted from out of their own end zone. Pats got good field position, went 40, scored on the Vagas Ferguson run. Late in the half, they go 80 yards. Cavanaugh to Francis. That's where it is, 14-0, end of the first half.
Watch what happens when you make a small investment in a Black & Decker router. Suddenly, things you thought only a professional could do, you can do. It'll shape an edge, decorate, it'll trim a counter, make clean grooves to hold shelves. It'll even write your name. A Black & Decker router can turn something ordinary
into something beautiful.
And Black & Decker makes a complete line of routers starting at incredibly low prices.
When high interest rates keep America from buying the fuel-efficient cars it needs, it's time to do something about it. Starting now, when you buy a new U.S.-built 81 Chrysler, Plymouth, or Dodge passenger car on credit, you can deduct 6% from the sticker price, including options, because we think the interest rates are 6% too high. That number will move up or down depending on a significant change in the prime interest rate. Make your best deal, then get $325 to $1,000 direct from Chrysler. We'll help you buy the car you want.
It's the Bob Hope Christmas Special with Lonnie Anderson, Larry Gatlin, the AP College All-Americans, and Loretta Swit. A Christmas surprise from Ho Ho Ho.
Is this part of saving me?
Tuesday.
Halftime at Chili Schaefer Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. Bob Costas, along with Gene Washington, and the Patriots battling for their lives in the AFC East, lead it by a score of 14-0. If they can win today, and if they can win next week against New Orleans, and Buffalo is upset by San Francisco, the title will belong to the Patriots in the AFC East. Let's go to New York. Here's Bryant Gumbel.
I'd like to welcome all of you back to our NFL 80 studios in New York. We're at Sunday number 15 of this NFL season, trying to get you caught up on just what is happening around the league and how it affects the playoff possibilities. Buffalo against New England. Well, the Bills beat the Pats in an earlier meeting under winter conditions at Rich Stadium in Buffalo. Today they've turned it around playing at Schaefer Stadium in Foxborough, and the Patriots have jumped out to a 14-0 lead. That ball game at the half, Joe Ferguson forced to the sidelines with an injury we now learn to his ankle, as New England got on the board first before Joe Ferguson was hurt. This is Vagas Ferguson of the Patriots going in from 9 yards out, 7-0 New England. Dan Minucci is the man who came in at the controls for the Buffalo Bills, but this is the kind of day it's been. Laterals to Cribbs, who tries to throw it back to Minucci, who chases it down, then winds up scrambling for yardage on his knee. Not the best of days for the Buffalo offense. Matt Cavanaugh in charge of the New England offense, operating from the shotgun here. 25-yard completion to Russ Francis. This gets the Pats in scoring position. Worked so well that Cavanaugh went back to the same man, number 81. Touchdown to Francis. Point after has the Patriots out in front of the Bills by a score of 14-0. If the Bills can win this game, they will clinch the title in the AFC East, something they have not done since 1966. In Minnesota, Cleveland against Minnesota. They're the leaders in the NFC and AFC Central. Both teams could clinch their division titles with a victory today, but Cleveland out in front of the Minnesota Vikings at the half by a score of 13-0. Brian Sipe and company looking for their 11th win. Bud Grant and the Vikings looking for their 9th. It was Sipe to Calvin Hill, the old-timer out of Yale, getting the job done for the Browns here. 18-yard touchdown. Point after put the Browns in front by a score of 7-0. Tommy Kramer has been putting the ball in the air an awful lot for the Vikings. Here he completes one, number 28, Ahmad Rashad, good for 19 yards, but the Minnesota drive was stymied down near the goal line. Then Brian Sipe up top one more time to Dave Logan. 41-yard completion. This one gets the Browns in good scoring position. Logan getting good position on the defender, and then Sipe rolling in from touchdown from 2 yards out. Point after was no good. Browns lead the Vikings by a score of 13-0. Again, should either team win that ball game? Obviously, whichever team wins that ball game will clinch their Central Division title. Houston against Green Bay. We understand now Houston has just kicked a field goal, gotten a field goal from Chester Markle, who was just signed up this week, now out in front of Green Bay by a score of 9-3 as the first half in that ball game winds down. Houston coming in with a very sound defense, looking for a victory over the Packers. Still, they got some unexpected speed. A long-distance run from Rob Carpenter. Carpenter finding a lot of room down the right sideline, going 46 yards before being pushed out inside the 1 to set up the game's first score at Lambeau Field. Who else do you call when you've got this man in your backfield? Number 34, Earl Campbell, the NFL's leading rusher, making it look easy from a yard out, taking it in. The point after was missed, and it was 6-0. After 6-3, Markle came in. Field goal for Chester Markle, just signed to replace Tony Frisch this week. Houston out in front of Green Bay 9-3 as that ball game nears the half. Kansas City against Pittsburgh, two clubs with very, very dim wild card hopes still alive, meeting at Three River Stadium. Pittsburgh out in front of Kansas City by a score of 7-3. That ball game, of course, at the half. Chuck Noll on the sidelines watching his Steelers today. The motto was one for the thumb. It's been a tough go for the Steelers all year long. Still, they jumped out in front early on. Bradshaw, 9-yard touchdown pass to Lynn Swann, put the Steelers in front by a score of 7-0. But Terry was intercepted by Gary Barbaro, his 9th of the season. That set up a Nick Lowry field goal. brought the Chiefs back. They're only 3 points of the game. Lowry's field goal of 36 yards has the Chiefs still looking up at a 4-point deficit at the half. St. Louis against Philadelphia. The Eagles looking for their 12th win of the season, having a lot of trouble with the Cardinals at Veterans Stadium. That ball game is scoreless at the half. Atlanta against San Francisco. The Falcons have already clinched a playoff position. If they can win today, they will wrap up the title in the NFC West. They are leading the San Francisco 49ers by a score of 7-0. Steve Bartkowski, a 1-yard run. The New Orleans Saints, still looking for their first win in this 15th week, are looking up at the Jets right now. Jets out in front by a score of 13-7 at the half. Archie Manning, a 14-yard touchdown pass to Jack Holmes. Kevin Long, a 1-yard run for the Jets. They've also got 2 Pat Leahy field goals, one of 26 yards and one of 47 yards. And Cincinnati out in front of Chicago by a score of 7-0. Last week, you'll remember, the Bears piled up 61 points in the Packers. Well, today they're trailing the Bengals 7-0. Pete Johnson has scored the lone touchdown on a 1-yard run. Later today, we've got a very big ball game coming to you from Mile High Stadium in Denver. There, the Oakland Raiders will try to keep pace with the San Diego Chargers as they go against the Denver Broncos. For a preview of that game, we get a report from our John Brody.
In Denver's Mile High Stadium, the biggest game of the afternoon, the Denver Broncos and the Oakland Raiders. For Oakland, it means a chance to go on into the playoffs. For Denver, a chance to recuperate a little of their lost pride. I've got with me a man that has been a very instrumental part of the Oakland Raiders throughout the past 8 weeks. When their offense has been a little sporadic, their defense has held them together. Cedric Hardman, a man who was on championship teams early, has come on to find new life with the Oakland Raiders. Cedric, what's going on with your defense?
Our defense is really playing well, John. We have a coordinator by the name of Charlie Sumner and an outside linebacker by the name of Ted Hendricks that just really put things together. Charlie has designed the defense where Ted is our Mr. Everything, and he's just roaming all over the field. He's helping us in the pass rush, and he's playing good pass defense, and so consequently, that's just about sums it up right there.
Why? What has Charlie Sumner done?
Charlie's kept the defense, which could be very complicated, and he's made it real simple, and we're running in a lot of people in different situations, and he's got a pass rushing group, and he's got a group that plays against the run, and everybody just sort of coordinated real well together.
Well, you heard it from Cedric Hardman. We'll see him out on the field throughout the afternoon. We're all getting a little excited up here in Denver's Mile High Stadium. The air is thin, but I think the adrenaline is getting a little thinner.
All right, thank you, John Brody. That ball game still to come on this doubleheader day on NBC. It's Oakland against Denver. Also another game has Miami's Dolphins going against the Baltimore Colts. I'd like to remind you about a special coming up Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. It's Bob Hope's Christmas special. Bob will be joined by the Associated Press All-America football team. It was a week ago Monday night that John Lennon was shot down out in front of his home on 72nd and Central Park West. As most of you know, a vigil was called for today. A report from Stephen Frazier of NBC News.
This is the band shell in New York City's Central Park, where admirers of John Lennon gathered for a final tribute to him. They listened to his music for 30 minutes and tried to stay warm in the cold here. Then precisely at 2 o'clock, the music stopped and the crowd grew silent for 10 minutes of silence in his memory. The observance took place within sight of the Dakota, Lennon's home in New York, where his wife and son have remained since his death. Similar gatherings were scheduled around the world with no speeches or eulogies, simply 10 minutes of prayer and silence at the request of Yoko Ono, Lennon's wife. Central Park, Stephen Frazier, NBC News.